What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video I am going to be reacting to my Premier League predictions, and yes, the time has come once again. So let's just get straight into today's video, guys, no messing about. I predicted 20th Cardiff City. Now obviously Cardiff didn't finish 20th, did they? It was of course Huddersfield Town. Huddersfield have really struggled this season long. I think they've completely lost the mentality, the mindset. They lost the dressing room. I think they lost motivation. Yes, they won 3 games and they lost 28 games. So Huddersfield haven't had one of the best seasons. Obviously, of course, they got rid of David Wagner and then they brought in another manager near towards the end of the season. But at the end of the day, Huddersfield going back down to the Championship. Bye-bye, enjoy the Championship. Coming 19th, I predicted Huddersfield, so I was pretty much close with that one. I'm pretty happy that I predicted Huddersfield to come 19th, but I was only literally one place off from Huddersfield. But in the end, of course, it was Fulham that came 19th. Fulham is a complete shock for me because it's a massive disappointment because I predicted Fulham to come 9th. I pretty much overestimated them because within the first 2 games, Fulham did really well. They scored goals for fun. They won 2 games, I think, back to back. I'm not too sure. They did really well in the first 2 games and then they just completely lost it. They got rid of their first manager and then they brought in Claudio Ranieri, sacked him, and then they brought in Scott Parker, who's now their new manager. So obviously now his aim is to get Fulham back up into the Premier League next season as well. Fulham came 19th. Coming 18th, I predicted Brighton Hove Albion. It wasn't obviously, of course, Brighton. Of course, Cardiff City finished 18th. Cardiff have had a rough season, I think. I would say they got a little bit controversial with a few games, with obviously the Liverpool game and the Chelsea game. I think they got mugged off in those 2 games. Obviously, big loss, Emiliano Sala obviously died in the plane crash. And I think, you know, he would have done some bits for Cardiff and probably got them in a place for the Premier League for next season. Obviously, after all that shenanigans that had went on with Emiliano Sala, it's a big loss. In the end, they just couldn't stay up. Cardiff City were in a dark place for a few weeks. You just have to move on. They didn't really have that push and they had to beat Palace to stay up, and they didn't beat them, obviously. So obviously Cardiff are going down to the Championship, so that puts Cardiff, Fulham and Huddersfield all into the Championship for next season. So now I'm going to be talking from 17th up to 10th position. So 17th I predicted Southampton. Obviously Southampton didn't finish 17th, did they? They just finished 16th, so I was pretty close with that one once again. 17th it was Brighton. I'm really happy with this prediction because with a couple of predictions they really, you know, they're very close to each other in that area, so I'm really happy that you nearly got that prediction right. You know, if you swap where I put Brighton, I put them in the relegation zone 18th. And if I would have put them 17th and Southampton just in front of them, I would have bossed that. I'm really happy that I was very close with these predictions. I expected these teams to finish in these certain places. Brighton, they just escaped it, you know, really escaped it. Obviously now they've sacked Chris Hughton after hearing that news as well. So now they're looking for a new manager. They want to improve for next season because obviously last season they just survived, didn't they? They finished 14th, 15th. Now this season they've only just got out of the relegation zone. Yeah, they got very lucky. I think back to back for 2 seasons, Brighton. Coming 16th, I predicted Newcastle. Obviously Newcastle didn't finish 16th, but coming 16th it was obviously of course Southampton. I got pretty close. I said it just then. Got pretty close with Southampton, but like again, I was pretty close. Southampton, you know, they had Mark Hughes, wasn't going well with him, got rid of him, brought in a new manager. He won some great games, I must not lie. Picked up Southampton, but at one point they were in the relegation zone. They managed themselves to get back up and to stay in for another season in the Premier League. I think he'll be staying on anyway, their manager. I'm pretty happy with these predictions. I'm very, very happy. Moving on now, 15th, I predicted Watford. Obviously Watford didn't finish 15th. It was of course Burnley. Burnley, obviously, they were qualifying for the Europa League. They didn't have the team to do that, of course. At one stage, Burnley were in the relegation zone as well. And then they changed the team around. What I mean by that, at first playing Joe Hart in goal, they had to get a new goalkeeper as both Tom Heaton and Nick Pope were injured. So they brought Joe Hart in, and out of Nick Pope, Tom Heaton and Joe Hart now, one of them have to leave Burnley now, and it's most looking like Joe Hart now. At least one of them has to leave Burnley. they changed it around, they changed the team around, and then they started winning games, got back together, and just went on a good old run, I think, Burnley, and then sort of just went downhill. Then they brought in Tom Heaton in goal. Things had changed for them. They did okay, Burnley, but of course they did finish 7th last season. Now they finished 15th. Sean Dyche will be definitely looking to improve for next season, of course. Coming 14th, I predicted Bournemouth. I got this prediction absolutely spot on. Of course, Bournemouth finished 14th. I'm really happy with this one. At the end of the day, I'm buzzing that I got my first one right. Lower down in the table, I got really close, but this is the first one that I absolutely bossed and got right. So really happy that I got Bournemouth right and I predicted it right. 13th, I predicted Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace obviously just finished one place above, which was 12th. Coming 13th in the end was, of course, Newcastle. Newcastle finished 14th last season. They only did one place better this season. Newcastle, they weren't going well and then picked it up and really picked it up, and I think Dwight Gale's made a difference for them. Is he there? No, he's not. He's at West Brom. He's gone out on loan to West Brom. That's it. But yeah, you know, Newcastle, they've done all right. There's talks now with Rafa Benitez maybe staying on at Newcastle as well, at the club. 12th, I predicted Leicester City. Leicester City obviously proved me wrong. They finished 3 places above, but really coming 12th, it was Crystal Palace. I wasn't far off this one. I did predict them 13th, so they finished 12th in the end. I'm really happy with this prediction once again. Crystal Palace, they've done all right under Roy Hodgson. Obviously, they beat Arsenal, got a result there. I think they beat a few teams in the top 6. I can't remember who. I think they might have beat Chelsea, actually. They beat City, I remember that. Got some good results at Crystal Palace. Very happy with this prediction. Obviously, it's not in the right position, but it's hard to get to predict the right positions, but I've done very well. They only just finished one place above, but yeah, I'm really happy. 11th, I predicted Burnley. Burnley, of course, finished 15th. Just didn't get them right at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, Watford came 11th. They finished 11th. Watford, I think they've had a good season under Xavi Garcia. They've done really well. Obviously, they've got themselves in the final against Man City in the FA Cup. They've done really well to get themselves in that position. Deulofeu, been an absolutely fantastic player as well, and also Troy Deeney, the other striker as well, who I can't think of right at the minute in my head. I think Watford have had a good season, I reckon. Coming 10th, I predicted West Ham. This is another one that I got absolutely bang on right. West Ham, of course, finished 10th. This is the second one I got right. West Ham didn't start off the season well. They had a slow start, and then they brought themselves back up the table. Got some good results. Obviously, they beat us, they beat Arsenal. I think they beat Chelsea as well. West Ham, I knew that they were going to finish mid-table because they didn't have a good season last season, and they knew that they had to improve. This season that is just gone, so I think under Manuel Pellegrini, they've done very well. Got this prediction absolutely spot on once again. Coming 9th, I predicted Fulham. I got this prediction massively wrong. They finished, obviously, of course, 19th. I really overestimated them. Definitely, for sure. Just completely did not get this one right, and I think people were expecting Fulham to finish in the top half of the table because they did really well in the first opening few games and then just completely went off the boil. They sacked 2 managers, but really who finished 9th? It was Leicester City, of course. Leicester City, I was thinking to myself at one stage of this season that I knew that they were going to get rid of Claude Puel. They had to get rid of him. They got rid of him. Then they brought in Brendan Rodgers, very good manager, likes to go attacking football, and he's brought a lot to Leicester. Yeah, they weren't in a very good position under Claude Puel, and then they brought themselves back up into the top half of the table. So Leicester have done very well, got a good result against Arsenal, and we just scraped the win against Leicester. Coming 8th, I predicted Wolves. Wolves just finished one place above that, and they finished 7th. I predicted Everton to come 7th, so if I swapped them round, I would have got those 2 right. But I'm still very happy that I was very close with this prediction with Wolves. But of course, in the end, 8th was Everton. Everton, they've had a very good season, I think, under Marco Silva. Got a good result against us. They got a good result against Arsenal. Got a good result against Chelsea. They've beaten 3 teams in the top 6. So Everton, they've done well. They just missed out on a Europa League spot. 7th, I predicted Everton, of course. Of course, Everton finished 8th. In the end, coming 7th was Wolves. Wolves did incredibly well for the first season under Nuno Santos. Is that right? They've done very well, Wolves. They've got themselves in a Europa League spot, but they of course have to qualify. Do they have the team to get into the Europa League for next season? It's going to be a tough task, big ask for Wolves, but Wolves have really stepped up this season. I knew they were going to prove people wrong. They've smashed it with their first season back into the Premier League, absolutely smashed it. So I think their next step now will be to battle now for probably top 6 for next season. I think Wolves have had an incredible first season back. They got some good results. They beat, obviously, of course, Manchester United, beat Arsenal as well, and obviously they got beat in the last game of the season against Liverpool. So I think Wolves have had a good season back to the Premier League. 6th, I predicted Chelsea. Chelsea, of course, didn't finish 6th. It was, of course, my club, Manchester United. I'm not very happy with this prediction. I expected United to finish at least 2nd. We didn't get off with a good start under Jose Mourinho. Picked up the results in the middle stage of the season, in mid-season, we picked up the results, and then near to the end of the season didn't win games. We weren't good enough. We were close with the top 4, didn't capitalise. We've just got a bunch of bottle jobs at the minute. We've just got to improve, not good enough. I'm expecting United on a major rebuild this transfer window as well. Of course, now the transfer window is now open. We've got to start making signings by next week, I think. 5th, I predicted Arsenal. I got this prediction absolutely bang on. Arsenal, of course, finished 5th. You know, Arsenal have had a good season, I think, on Emery. There's games that, you know, they didn't do too well in. They had a few embarrassing results now and there, Arsenal. There again, the same as us. Obviously, there's their fan reaction on AFTV, and they were saying, you know, they were embarrassing, there were a bunch of bottle jobs and stuff like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, United and Arsenal were battling for that 5th position in the end, and it ended up Arsenal. So I'm very happy that I got this prediction absolutely bang on. 4th, I predicted Tottenham. Once again, I got this prediction absolutely bang on once again. I'm very happy once again. Tottenham, they've done really well. You know, they've just scraped it in for the Champions League football for next season. They've done really well. They're obviously in the Champions League final against Liverpool. Big ask for them. Can they win the Champions League, though, of course, in the next couple of weeks? They've done some good stuff. Tottenham, obviously a few embarrassing results as well. Obviously got beat by Bournemouth. They got beat by lower teams in the table as well. But it's not only just us really, it's Arsenal as well, Tottenham as well. So Tottenham, they got themselves in for Champions League football. Coming 3rd, I predicted Liverpool. I got close with this prediction. Liverpool, it was a tough title race between Liverpool and City. I'll get to that in a minute. In the end, coming 3rd, it was Chelsea. Chelsea, I think they got lucky to get into the top 4 and to get Champions League football for next season. I think they've got lucky massively under Sarri, under him for the first season. You know why they got the lucky? I think it's because they got absolutely humiliated by City. Was it 5-1 or 6-1? I think they've got very lucky under Sarri this season to get Champions League football. But of course you can't really write them off and say they don't deserve it. They are in the Champions League next season, but of course they've got that big game against Arsenal in the Europa League coming up, Europa League final. Who's obviously going to win that? Of course, it's an all North London derby there, so it's going to be great to watch in the next couple of weeks. 2nd place, I predicted Manchester United. Of course, Manchester United never finished 2nd. We finished 6th, obviously. Coming 2nd, it was of course Liverpool. Liverpool completely, I don't think they shocked me, but they definitely shocked me the way how they were battling for the title this season with City. It went right down to the wire into the last game of the season. Liverpool have done fantastic this season under Jurgen Klopp. It's taken him, I think, 3 seasons to get their team in a good position to battle for the Premier League, but they've still not yet won it. So I don't think it's a big shock, but I know that it's their best team in years. They put themselves in a very good position this year. They did very well under Jurgen Klopp. Of course, bossed this last one. I did say at the beginning of my Premier League predictions, I said that Manchester City were going to win the Premier League, and of course they won the Premier League. So I got this prediction absolutely bang on. Once again, I knew that they were going to win the season once again because their team is just unstoppable. They're a brilliant team. They've got lots of quality there. They've got Sterling, Aguero, Sane, Mahrez. We've got some great players, and you know, City are unstoppable. Of course, City were going to win the league, and of course, I got this prediction right. I'm really happy with my predictions, guys. I got 5 right out of the 20 teams. I'm very happy with this because at the end of the day, last season I only got 1 right. And I've done better from last season. Really happy with my predictions. There's obviously a few where I nearly got close in certain areas. I'm very happy with my predictions. Did better from last season. Done very well. Hope you guys have enjoyed another video. Be sure to leave a like. Subscribe to my channel if you are new. See you guys in a video in the next few days. And peace.